Hello everyone, I'm Shawar Zara and I hope you all are fine and safe. Today our topic of discussion is levels and tools of bioinformatics. So before we move to our today's topic, let's take a brief overview of the things that we have discussed in our previous lecture. So in our last lecture, that was our lecture number 28, we discussed about the biological database, and it was basically biological database is if I repeat here, it is basically a large organized body of persistent data, and that is usually associated with the computerized software designed to update, query and retrieve components of the data stored within the system. So we discussed about this biological database and why researchers need this biological database, and how this functions. So this was the first thing that we discussed in our previous lecture. Then we discussed that when the term bioinformatics was being introduced. So this term was introduced in 1990s, and we discussed its definition in detail. And if I repeat here the definition of bioinformatics, then it is basically the recording. It includes the recording, annotation, storage, analysis and searching, or you can say the retrieval of nucleic acid sequences, that is the genes and RNAs, and structural information. And bioinformatics, it basically concerns creation and maintenance of databases of biological information, whereby researchers can access to this information, and they can submit the new entries. So we discussed that it is the multidisciplinary subject, and then we discussed that what are the subdisciplines of this bioinformatics, and we discussed many disciplines. Some of them were the sequence similarity analysis, then we discussed the phylogenetics, we discussed genomics, assembly and comparison, proteomics. We had the complete full-fledged lecture in past. So proteomics, we discussed that how bioinformatics has focused on understanding the composition of proteins. So then we discussed the biology and genetics knowledge using so these were the subdisciplines that we discussed in reference to the bioinformatics. Then we discussed about the bioinformatic tools and the statistical technique that one needs to acquire in order to work in this field, and that were basically your SPSS, SCS and other statistical analysis softwares. You have to excel on these softwares. Then lastly, we discussed that why is bioinformatics so important, and why we need to study this, and why a lot of research is being carried out in this field. So if I summarize here that why, and repeat here that why this study bioinformatics is needed. So it is basically needed because the knowledge, it has recently being a lot of knowledge has been you can say that it has been introduced, and it has, that means a kind of explosion has taken place, and this publicly available genomic information due to the Human Genome Project. So this information was too large, so it was required to place this information in, you can say, the particular databases, and that databases are being you can say developed under this field of bioinformatics. And then this bioinformatics is needed to better understand the gene analysis, taxonomy and evolution, and to work efficiently on the rational drug designs, and to reduce the time taken for development of drug naturally. So these were basically the bioinformatics. You can say that why it is needed, why it is required, and the importance of the bioinformatics. So moving towards our today's topic, that is the levels of bioinformatics. There are basically 3 levels of bioinformatics, and we will be discussing these 3 levels one by one in detail. So the first level is analysis of single gene, that is protein sequence. And under this level, what is being studied is that similarity with other known genes. Number 1, phylogenetic trees, their evolutionary relationships is being studied. Number 2. Number 3 is identification of well-defined domains in the sequence is carried out. Along with this, sequence features means like the features that are physical properties, binding, modification sites, they are also being studied, and these features are of the sequences. Then prediction of subcellular localization is also being done, and prediction of secondary and tertiary structures is also being studied. So these are all the things that are being studied in this level, under this level of bioinformatics. The second level of this bioinformatics is analysis of complete genome. Under this level, what is being studied is that which gene families are present and which are missing, number one. Number two, that location of genes on the chromosome, their correlation with function or evolution is also being studied. Number three, expansion, or you can say the duplication of gene families, is also discussed in detail. And presence or absence of biochemical pathways, experiments are being done and researches are being done in order to determine the presence and absence of biochemical pathways. Then identification of missing enzymes is also being carried out under this level. And then large scale events in the evolution of organisms, they are studied in depth under this level of bioinformatics. The third level of bioinformatics is analysis of genes and genomes with respect to functional data. And what we studied for studying this is that expression analysis is being done, microarray data, messenger RNA concentration is measured under this level. Then proteomics, as I have said before, that we have discussed in detail proteomics, and under this bioinformatics, using bioinformatics, protein concentration is measured, and covalent modification that takes place is also being determined. Then comparison analysis of biochemical pathways is carried out. Then genotypes and phenotypes are being compared of the mutants, and identification of essential genes or gene involved in specific processes, they are also being done. So these were the three levels of bioinformatics, and what is being done in all these three levels, under these three levels. The next thing that we will be discussing today is the bioinformatic tools, that which tools are being done to perform all the functions that we have discussed in the previous slides. So the first tool that is being used is BLAST. BLAST is basically the abbreviation of Basic Local Alignment Search Tool. So what this BLAST do is that it finds regions of local similarity between sequences, and this program, it compares nucleotide or protein sequences to sequence databases, and it calculates the statistical significance of matches. This BLAST technique, it can be, or you can say the tool, it can be used to infer functional and evolutionary relationship between sequences, as well as it helps to identify members of gene families. So this was a brief introduction of this BLAST technique, that is Basic Local Alignment Search Tool. Now let's discuss that why we use this BLAST. We have discussed, okay, that function is that, but the purpose why we are using it. So some of the, you can say some of the purposes that are of BLAST, that are, the number one is looking for species. For example, if you are sequencing DNA from unknown species, what BLAST can do is that it may help you to identify the correct species or homologous species. So this is how BLAST helps you. Second purpose is looking for domains. For example, you can say that using BLAST, you can look for a protein sequence or a translated nucleotide sequence. So this BLAST will help you to look for known domains in the QD sequence. The third is looking at the phylogeny. So you can use BLAST web pages to generate phylogenetic trees of the BLAST result. So this is how BLAST is being useful and how it functions in the bioinformatics. Then mapping DNA to you can say non-chromosome is also another application of the BLAST. And for example, if you are sequencing a gene from a known species but you have no idea of the chromosome location, this BLAST can help you, or you can say it will show you the position of the QD sequence in relation to the hit sequences. Then annotations is another application of this BLAST, and this BLAST can also be used to map annotations from one organism to another or look for common genes in two related species. Here I have used the term annotations. DNA annotation or the genome annotation is basically the process of identifying the location of genes and all of the coding regions in a genome and determine what those genes do. So this is what the annotation means. There is another function of BLAST, and that is searching for homology. So how this will happen, you know that most research projects, they involve sequences of either DNA or protein, and they have a requirement for obtaining biological information of newly sequenced, or you can say maybe the unknown sequence. So if the researcher have no prior information of the sequence and biological content, BLAST can be used to obtain this valuable information. And the BLAST algorithm, it will help you to search for homologous sequences in predefined and annotated databases of the user's choice. So this is how this BLAST helps you, and these were the purposes of the BLAST. The next tool that is being used in bioinformatics is ClustalW, and ClustalW is basically, if I say that, it is related to the protein sequences, and you know that the multiple alignments of the protein sequences, they are important tools in studying sequences. So the basic information they provide is identification of conserved sequence region, protein sequences. I am talking about protein sequences here. And this is very useful in designing experiments to test and modify the function of specific proteins, and to predict the function and structure of proteins, and to identify new members of protein families. So this ClustalW is helpful in you can say in designing experiments, and you can say that in modifying function of specific proteins, in identification of proteins, in predicting the structure of proteins. So this is how it functions. So sequences, what happens in technique is that sequences, they can be aligned across their length, and this alignment across the length, it is known as global alignment, or these sequences can be aligned in certain regions only, and this alignment is known as local alignment. Global alignment, they need to use gaps, for example, that is means representing these gaps basically represents the insertions and deletion, while local alignment, they can avoid these gaps, and they can align themselves, and they can align themselves without these gaps. This ClustalW, it is a fully automatic program for the global alignment of the, you can say, the DNA and protein sequences, and the program it has some adjustable parameters with calculated, or you can say with reasonable defaults. Lastly, this ClustalW, it produces biologically meaningful multiple sequence alignments of divergent sequences, and it calculates the best match for the selected sequences and lines them so that the identities, similarities and differences, they can be seen. And evolutionary relationship, it can be observed, or you can say it can be seen by using the cladograms or the phylograms. So this was how this ClustalW tool functions, and the purpose of this ClustalW tool. So here you can see that how the results of ClustalW of multiple sequence alignment is being obtained. So the results are in this form. The next technique that we are going to discuss is ResMol, and ResMol is basically a molecular graphic program, and it is intended for the visualization of proteins, nucleic acid and small molecules. This program, it is aimed at display, teaching and generation of publication quality images, means the high quality images. ResMol, it runs on wide range of architectures and operating systems, including Microsoft Windows, Apple, Macintosh, Unix, VMS systems. Unix and VMS variants, they basically require an 8, 24 or 32-bit color X Windows display for the display. So what this program do is that this program, it reads in molecule coordinate file, and it interactively displays the molecule on the screen in a variety of color schemes and the molecule representation. So this is how the RESMOL functions. So this is how the structure of the protein is being identified and is being studied by using this RESMOL software. You can see here it in the slide. The next tool that we are going to discuss is Swiss PDB Viewer. Swiss PDB Viewer, it is an application that provides a user-friendly interface. And how it provides the user-friendly interface? It provides it by allowing to analyze several proteins at the same time. Means you can analyze multiple proteins at one time, so it is quite useful in this way rather than analyzing one by one protein. The proteins, they can be superimposed in order to deduce structural alignments and compare their active sites or any other relevant parts. Amino acid mutations, hydrogen bonds, angles and distances between atoms, they are easy to obtain through this tool. Moreover, this Swiss PDB Viewer is tightly linked to Swiss model, and the Swiss model is basically an automated homology modeling server, and that is being developed within the Swiss Institute of Bioinformatics, and this is done in collaboration between GlaxoSmithKline and R&D and the Structural Bioinformatics group. So this is basically it is quite you can say the Swiss PDB Viewer is it has quite a big sport, and it is being done at quite a big level. So what this program do is that it greatly reduces the amount of work that is necessary to generate model, because here it is possible to thread a protein primary structure, or you can say the protein primary sequence, onto a 3D template and get an immediate feedback of how well the threaded protein will be accepted by the reference structure before submitted a request to build missing loop and redefine chain packets. So this is how the Swiss PDB Viewer functions. Here in the slide you can see the protein structure, and as we have been discussing that the Swiss PDB Viewer, it is basically useful in order to deduce structural alignments and of the protein, and in order to study the structure of the protein. So you can see here that how this is being done and how this structure is being studied through this Swiss PDB Viewer. Apart from these, there are other bioinformatic tools, and they are molecular sequence alignment tools. So a sequence alignment is basically a schematic arrangement of one sequence of DNA, RNA and protein sequence on top of another, where the residues in one position, they are entitled to have a common evolutionary origin. So this is what the sequence alignment means. This method, it is used to identify regions of similarity that may be a consequence of functional, structural or evolutionary relationship between two or more sequences. So some of these are Lalign, that LALIGN, and what it do is that it finds multiple matching subsegments in two sequences. Then you have GeneOrder 2.0. It is an IDA tool, and it is used for the alignment of small gene bank genome sequences, that is up to 0.25 MB. Then you have CodeGenes. It is designed to analyze 2 to 5 genomes simultaneously, and it also generates a table of related genes. Lastly, you have ORF, and ORF, it works very well, and it quickly with phase size genomes. So these are the molecular sequence alignment tools. Then we have components of bioinformatics, and under these components, technology and computing power, creation of databases, development of algorithms and statistics, analysis of data and interpretations. So these are some of the components of bioinformatics. Some other components of bioinformatics are computational biology, genomics, computer science, molecular biology. So these were the some of the components of the bioinformatics. So this was for today's lecture. I hope that what we have discussed so far you have understood, and you have got all the concepts that we have discussed up till now. So if you want to study in detail that we have discussed in today's lecture and all the tools along with the levels, then you can visit these sites. And so this was for today's lecture. Thank you for watching. Allah Hafiz.